Can you brief me about the budget deficits, budget surplus, and the debts
Yes, right now United States has $34 trillion of debt.
of debts?
That's very high.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we also have been running deficits, much higher in the beginning of the pandemic than today.
Mm-hmm.
Deficit means government spends more than it takes in tax revenues.
Okay.
Right. That means total deficits accumulated since 1776, Declaration of Independence.
1776.
Six.
Okay.
So all the deficits combined is that. That is a much greater number than 1 year's deficit. Deficit is only for one
One
year.
year.
That is for entire history of the United States.
Okay. And it's like the incremental, like when you have surplus, you
Yes,
deduct that from the deficits and you say, okay, this is the
sure.
total debt.
Budget deficits would increase our debt. Budget surpluses would decrease
Decrease
our
our
debt. Yes.
What happens when the country defaults on the debt?
Which happened to Argentina, and
Mhm.
at certain point, I believe Greece as well. Default means they are not able to pay their debt. They
Hmm.
miss a certain deadline for some bonds that they sold. Uh, once they don't pay, confidence in that country's ability to finance its debt in the future crashes. Once you don't have confidence, they are going to charge you higher interest rates.
Hmm.
Just like having a bad score gets you a high interest rate. So having a default will get a high interest rate for that country. Then they will have to pay more in interest, or it's going to be very difficult to borrow new money, which they need to pay the old debt.
Got it. Got it.
So they might go into printing money to pay the debt because they are not able to borrow once they defaulted. The more you print, the more inflation you get.
Correct.
So that's happening to Argentina right now. It's a very difficult cycle that they are in.
Got it. And when you say borrow money, who's the country borrowing the money from?
There are international financial markets, and countries buy and sell government bonds,
Mm-hmm.
right, in those markets. So you can borrow, like you can buy like US sells bonds
Mm-hmm.
to borrow money from China. In the
Okay.
future, we are going to pay it back with interest.
With
But
interest.
US pays a very low interest, so we are getting really cheap money
Okay.
because there's so much confidence in the US. It's a superpower, plus dollar is the international reserve currency. So we have privileges that no other country has.
So, do you have any idea which other country borrows money from China, or is it only US?
Many countries
Many
borrow
countries
from
do.
China,
Okay,
yes.
and all the countries will have different interest rate based on the country's
Yes,
confidence.
credibility or trustworthiness.
Got it.
How,
Got it.
how is their economy judged
Got it.
internationally?